Howdy, this is the commentated version of my dog Blue's first NW1. If you want to watch the uncommentated video, go to the other version, but I'm just going to talk through some of the things that happened. We did not pass, we filled containers. As you will see, we did end up getting a pronounced in exteriors and did fine in vehicles and exteriors. So let's go ahead and watch the container first. Right off the bat, there was a huge group of people on the camera side. My dog immediately startled coming in through the door. I went ahead and started using verbal praise to try and get him in, and then he was pretty happy here, but you can tell he's not searching in earnest. He checks a couple boxes here. I'm trying to keep in my head which boxes he's gone over, but this is pretty wild searching behavior. I, in general, consider myself to be a dog-led searcher here, so I am not making any input. I am not insisting he go to the boxes at all. He was ended up seated at the very end of the competition, so roughly 20 dogs or a little bit more had been in here before him. So I don't think there's a great scent picture in the room. The other unusual thing, which I had never seen before, all the boxes in this room were upside down so that the lid was on the bottom. I had never seen that before. My dog tends to have a strategy where he checks the side of boxes rather than, the tip, and so I think he was a little confused here. I go ahead and re-cue here. I just go show me to see if he had picked up odor and then was just a little too scared to go on the alert. He starts licking the floor here, which is a telltale sign that he is not searching and that he's a little unsure. So then I I move on from a dog-led strategy to a handler-led strategy. Again, I'm sort of poking at boxes that I have in my head he hasn't smelled directly. He gets a couple of pretty good sniffs on that hot box. Again, I'm not entirely sure why he never hit on it. I do think it being upside down had a huge influence. This is a classic clear behavior he has when he's in a clear room. He comes back into heel position. He's going to check out the judges here. I was trying to get him to take a closer look at some of those boxes closer to the judges, thinking that maybe he was pressured off of them. Those start line boxes, because he had been kind of scared. Normally in a situation like this, I would just ask him to go counterclockwise, but I can't do that because this room is set up in an X format. They give me a 30-second warning here, and I'm sort of panicking, and he slaps that box, and so I just decide, because I haven't seen any indication that he's an odor, that I'm going to call in that center box. They give me a no. I said, that's totally fine. Can you please tell me where the hot box is? They tell me, and I direct him over, and as he's coming back on this side, he does hit it, and he comes into a very natural alert, and I just pretend that nothing happened. Give him his treats, tell him he's a great boy. I definitely think he was spooked, and he had never seen boxes arranged like this or upside down like this. So it was a little tricky for us. Said thank you to the judges. Then we moved directly to the interiors, just walking across the hallway. So as you'll see, he still comes in pretty strong here, but he's definitely less energetic than he was in containers. Still a wagging tail. His mouth is a little open. I think he's slightly stressed at this point, but he's still happy. He just does his circuit of the room. I'm not making any input at all. Just letting him. These two desks were out of play, so we knew that it was the small area. He comes over to check the start line again, which I like. And then he comes up here and he starts staring at the timekeeper here and smelling this thing on the desk. He may have been an odor there, but at the time I thought he was just messing around with the timekeeper. So I call him over. He immediately begins sourcing on this cabinet, and all I'm waiting for him to give me the positive all clear. You never know if someone might have peed there. Alert. And then sure enough, he goes into his sit, and I call alert, and that was correct. So did much better there. Still not 100% where I would like him to be, but he's a teenager, so I'm fine with that. We spent about an hour in the car between the next set of elements, and we had a really, really strong wind direction coming right in from the hide. So one of my big takeaways from this was that I definitely need to spend more time letting him smell at the start line. I heard from many people that their dog had picked up on the odor trail from the start line and gone directly to the hide, and I think we were about number 4 or 5 in terms of speed on this run, and it definitely could have improved that if he had picked it up right away. Here, I just keep him off the grass, that's my only job, and he immediately picks up that odor, goes over to the chair, just thinks about going away, but then comes back, and I call it. And so that we got it pronounced on that one. Same thing, the wind is coming very strong across the cars in this search. If I had thought about it longer, I should have stopped him at the start line and put him on this closest to the camera side of the cars, because then he would have been downwind of all the cars. I had never practiced with multiple cars before this vehicle search, which is not a great idea, but I didn't have access to any. And he begins this circling. There is a big bank of grass outside of the camera view here, which I assumed he was just trying to smell. So I gave him a small amount of leash pressure just to keep him off of them, and I probably shouldn't have done this. I talked with the judge afterward, and I believe he actually was getting some eddying odor up there. He is smelling some of these cars, but you can tell he still has this sort of upwards attitude where he's thinking about moving up to the other car. I like his big downwind circle there. He goes to check this side of the car, but he smells the grass, and I pull him off of it. And just a lot of searching behavior, which is good. He's not stopping searching, but he doesn't seem to have hit any odor yet. He finally, I think here, decides to come on the camera side of this car, but he comes downwind like this. Now, I call him back into the car. I probably shouldn't have done that. He probably was in odor out there, eddying off of the car, but luckily for me, he's a really smart dog. He pulls me back up. He hits a lot of odor right in this wheel well. I think it's blowing down and under the license plate, and then he comes around to the license plate and does a good alert. So overall, I'm really happy with this for our first attempt. Obviously, we didn't pass, but we'll do better next time.